Hi, my name is Jolene, and I am coming to you on behalf of FacePaintingForumShop.com. This is my beautiful model Larkin. She's my daughter, and she's helping me out today. And we're going to do a monster mask on her that a lot of little kids like, and she likes to be kind of scary sometimes, and so I'm going to paint her up that way. We are actually going to use a couple kinds of sponges. I've got a half sponge cut in half like that, and then I've got a whole sponge that I've got a little rubber band around, or a hair elastic, and that allows me to cut in around the mouth and create a muzzle, and I can get the sharper edges with the half sponge that I need. And then I'll be outlining them all in black with a Mark Reed number 4. And I'll be using a couple of different paints, colors, but mostly all Wolf brand paints. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the muzzle area first, and I will wet the brush, just wet the sponge just a little bit, and dab it in the little small amount of paint. And then I will get her to tilt her head back for me just a little bit, and we'll go in under her nose, dabbing it on, and then I'm going to go over the bridge of her nose like that, and around the nostrils. You'll see later why I'm going around the nostrils. All the way up the bridge of the nose and underneath the nose. Getting that nice round shape with the sponge is kind of automatic because I've already got this nice rounded edge from putting the rubber band on it. And I've got a little bit on her lower lip, and I'll clean that up later. I'll moisten my sponge just a little bit, and using the same color, I'm going to go over her eyebrows and give her some nice pointy edges right there. Okay. And then over the other side, give her another winged out area. Okay, so as you can see, she has two areas over her eyebrows and down the bridge of her nose and then around her mouth. Okay, I am going to now do some outlining in black. This is Wolf Black and the Mark Reed number 4 that I was telling you about. I really like the Mark Reed brushes. I like the stiffness of them. I like the lines that you get. Okay, now we're going to use the corner of her mouth as a guideline, and we're going to go out, push down, and around, and flick in, and go out, push down, around, and in. Okay, and I will not be outlining the bridge of her nose. I like the faded out effect over the bridge of her nose, but I will be lining this area on her forehead. And so I'm going to take, starting here, pressing down, and then lifting up, and back down, and back up, and back down, back up, flipping up each time, giving me a nice skinny edge, and then we'll press down and then come around. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to walk around, that way you'll be able to see what I'm doing over here. Okay, if you'll turn your head towards me just a little bit, we'll come from the center line down, up, Okay. Now, I'm going to define the edges of her nose, adding a little bit of paint for a little monster nostril. And you follow the natural curve of the nose right there. If she turns her head, you can see it's right in that little fold right there. I'm going to do the other side the same way, and I'm going to make a little pointy nostril. Okay. Now I'm actually going to use something called Details, and this will give her kind of some little scaly freckles in some different spots. I'm going to go ahead and dot, 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 dot. And I like to have my dots in slightly different sizes, and it looks better if they're in groups of 3 or 5. And one area right here, dot, dot, dot. And over the top of her nose right here, dot, dot. Okay. Now, I'm going to use a little bit of white, because what monster is complete without fangs? Okay, and I'm going to start out right here at the corners of her mouth. I like to try to keep it right outside. That way if they eat or drink anything, you can kind of stay away from that. And I do usually keep straws in my kit. That way, if I do something that requires their top lip to be covered, I found out that children get very angry. Their brand new face painting gets messed up because they take a big drink out of their drink at the party, and it messes up the upper lip. So I usually hand out straws when I do something like this. Okay, I'm using, to outline this, a number 2 Mark Reed, and I'm going to outline. I'm going to pull her lip back, her cheek back just a little bit, and outline that tooth right there. And she'll turn her head towards me a little bit. I'm going to outline this tooth here. Give it a couple of flicks down. Do a little shading right there at the corners. Okay, and I'm going to give these little dots a quick outline just at the bottom edge of the dots to make them stand out like they're raised. Almost like they look like they're scales like this. Okay, and so now I'm going to take that middle area, and I think I want to add a little tuft of hair there, and I'm going to use another brush to add like a little tuft of hair here in the middle, and I'll outline that. Also in black, And again with the same up and down sharp little motion we used on the outsides. And so pretty much we're finished, unless you wanted to add the finishing touch of painting the lower lip. Now you can always paint the lower lip out in black, and that does kind of complete the look. Larkin's got a nice lower lip painting though, nice and pretty. And so if you will, I'm going to scoot her up just a little bit so you can see better the details of that. Okay, now that we have all that done, I'm going to use a little yellow and add some highlights to it with yellow. I like the yellow over the green. It's not quite as stark as the white, but these little top areas, I'm just going to kind of drag that up, and it gives it a little bit of dimension there. Over the top here on the muzzle. And down the nose. Okay, I'm going to blend it out a little bit with my finger. On the tip of the nose. Okay. And now we're all done. So Larkin, look at the camera and make a monster face for me. Okay, and again, this is Jolene, the Face Painting Fairy from facepaintingforumshop.com, and this is my video on a monster mask. Well, I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much.